You're not just attractive, you're a walking temptation, a storm in human form that pulls hearts into chaos without even trying. Every time you walk into a room, my pulse forgets how to behave. Your danger disguised as desire. You're not the kind of hot that fades. You're the kind that burns, lingers, and leaves scars in the soul. There's something about your fire. It doesn't just warm, it consumes, and I've stopped trying to escape it. You're dangerously hot, not just in looks, but in energy, the kind that destroys logic and rebuilds fantasy. Every inch of you screams temptation, and every thought I have about you feels like a beautiful sin. You're not safe to crave, but I crave you anyway, because danger has never looked this divine. You set my peace on fire just by existing, and somehow I keep walking willingly into the flames. You're super hot in ways that make self-control seem like a myth, and my thoughts are no longer innocent. I swear your presence alone is enough to turn air into something sinful, heavy with unspoken want. You look like a daydream that knows it's dangerous, but loves being chased anyway. You're the kind of hot that isn't meant to be touched, yet no one can resist wanting to. There's heat in your eyes that feels like a warning, and I've ignored it 1,000 times already. You're dangerously hot, not the kind that glows, but the kind that burns through patience and logic. Every glance at you feels like playing with fire, and I've stopped pretending I don't love the burn. You're magnetic, unexplainable, and far too hot for anyone to handle without getting scorched. You walk like a warning and talk like a dare. No wonder hearts fall just to feel your heat. You're super hot, but it's your confidence that makes the temperature impossible to survive. I keep telling myself to stay calm, but every move you make feels like an invitation to danger. You're the fire I want to run from, and the warmth I can't live without. Every inch of you radiates desire. It's like standing too close to the sun and calling it love. You're dangerously hot, the kind that ruins sleep, sanity, and every attempt to forget. It's not just your beauty, it's the way you make people lose their composure without even trying. You have this heat in your aura that turns silence into seduction and distance into longing. You're the kind of hot that makes people risk peace for passion and never regret it. I think heaven made you as a reminder that beauty can be both blessing and destruction. You're not just physically hot, you're emotionally dangerous, the kind who ruins hearts beautifully. Every glance from you feels like a secret invitation into chaos that I can't resist accepting. You're dangerously hot because your warmth doesn't comfort, it consumes. I can't tell if you're my fantasy or my undoing, but either way, you're impossible to resist. You're the kind of hot that bends time. Suddenly, nothing else exists but you and this ache. Every breath I take near you feels stolen from fire. Every thought burns deeper. You're dangerously hot, not because of your looks, but because your presence rewrites logic. There's something fatal about your beauty. It's soft enough to lure, sharp enough to destroy. You're not just hot, you're hypnotic. Every glance pulls me closer to surrender. I don't think you understand the kind of chaos you create just by being in the room. You're dangerously hot, the kind of person people should run from but never will. It's terrifying how easy it is to lose all sense of self when you're this close. You're not the sun, but you make everything else fade when you shine. You're too hot for comfort, too intense for peace, and yet I crave every second of it. You're dangerously hot. Your charm is the weapon, and your silence is the bullet. Every part of you feels like temptation wearing a smile, and I'm already too far gone. You're the kind of hot that burns slow, the type that stays long after the fire dies. I don't think people realize how dangerous you are, not because of your looks, but because of your effect. You're too hot to handle, too calm to fear. The perfect balance of chaos and control. You're dangerously hot because you make everyone question their limits. It's not what you wear, it's the way you wear confidence, like armor, and desire like perfume. You're hot in ways words can't describe. It's not beauty, it's power disguised as a smile. Every thought of you is a spark, and I've been burning in secret ever since. You're the kind of hot that doesn't fade with distance. It haunts, it lingers, it owns. I could drown in your energy and call it love. That's how dangerously hot you are. You're a masterpiece of heat and chaos, and I'll never stop admiring the art that destroys me. You're dangerously hot because you make everything around you feel too alive. You're the kind of hot that makes people forget their promises, their peace, and even themselves. Every glance from you feels like lightning, quick, bright, and impossible to recover from. You're dangerously hot, the kind that makes distance feel like torture and proximity feel like heaven. You burn too beautifully to be safe and too softly to be resisted. You're super hot, but it's your quiet confidence that drives people to insanity. Every time I see you, I understand why fire has always been called divine and deadly. You're dangerously hot because you make people believe in magic again, the kind that ruins logic. There's danger in your beauty, the kind that makes people want to get lost on purpose. You're too hot for peace, too stunning for safety and too real to ignore. You're the heat that keeps me alive and the burn that keeps me awake. You don't just turn heads, you turn hearts into volcanoes, erupting with unspoken desire. You're dangerously hot, not the kind that fades with time, but the kind that deepens with every memory. Every move you make feels choreographed by temptation itself. You're the kind of hot that feels like gravity. No matter how far I drift, I'm pulled back. You're dangerously hot because you awaken things that were meant to stay asleep. You're the flame, and I'm the moth, and I've stopped pretending I don't want to burn. There's danger in the way you smile. It's an unspoken promise and a beautiful warning. You're super hot, but your mind is what sets the fire truly ablaze. You're dangerously hot. Your silence says more than most words ever could. You look like the dream people have before their lives change forever. You're the kind of hot that writes poetry without a single word. Every time I look at you, reality bends. Suddenly, it's just you and this ache. You're dangerously hot, and what's worse is you don't even seem to know it. You're fire wrapped in human form, and I've never wanted danger more. Every time you speak, it feels like honey poured on thunder, sweet and striking all at once. You're not just hot, you're haunting, the kind of memory that won't let go. You're dangerously hot because you make even innocence feel sinful. You move like poetry written by the sun, beautiful, blinding, and impossible to forget. You're super hot, and your energy makes hearts race faster than reason can catch up. You're dangerously hot, but your calm makes the fire feel safe, and that's the real danger. You have no idea how much chaos your beauty leaves behind after you're gone. You're the heat that wakes sleeping emotions and burns through old scars. You're dangerously hot because your presence feels like a secret meant only for the brave. You look like desire painted by the universe, and I can't look away. You're not just hot, you're a test of how much a heart can handle before it breaks. You're dangerously hot. You turn confusion into craving and fear into fascination. Every part of you seems designed to challenge self-control. You're the kind of hot that doesn't need attention. Attention happens naturally around you. You're dangerously hot, like a forbidden chapter people keep rereading anyway. You're too intense for ordinary love. Your energy demands obsession, not affection. You're dangerously hot because you don't try to be. You just are, effortlessly. You make beauty look like rebellion, and I've never loved disobedience more. You're the heat that turns walls into doors and strangers into believers. You're dangerously hot. Every heartbeat near you feels like a confession. You don't walk, you glide, and everyone who sees it forgets how to breathe. You're not fire, you're the spark that starts it. You're dangerously hot because you make even the strong weak and the quiet loud. You're beauty that burns. No one survives you unchanged. You're dangerously hot, the kind that makes logic blush and reason hide. Your energy feels like forbidden warmth, the kind everyone pretends not to crave. You're too hot to touch, yet too magnetic to avoid. You're dangerously hot, like a sunset no one wants to end, no matter the darkness ahead. You have the kind of presence that turns silence into tension and glances into stories. You're not the type of hot that fades. You're the kind that evolves into obsession. You're dangerously hot. One look and the world loses its focus. Your temptation carved from confidence and dusted with danger. You're the kind of hot that feels like falling, terrifying and addictive all at once. You're dangerously hot because you make fantasy feel real and reality feel dull. You're a beautiful contradiction, warmth that freezes hearts and fire that soothes wounds. You're super hot, dangerously hot, the kind that reminds me why desire has always been both a gift and a curse.